What's going on, everybody? So, the mind is a mechanism, right? Because however your mind was programmed when you was younger and whatever you're playing out right now, that is the program that is running through your mind, which is just a software program that can be edited, that is just made up of an accumulation of thoughts and feelings that we view the world from that position and shit like that, right? So the mind now subconsciously filters in certain information, and it subconsciously leaves out certain information that disagrees with our belief system, and it allows information that agrees with our belief system into our mind, meaning that the mind is naturally biased, meaning that the mind naturally has a form of cognitive dissonance, meaning that there is a tunnel vision that has already been programmed into you, meaning that there is a set of possibilities and impossibilities that you have already created yourself and accepted just via you spending time around an environment when you was younger. Basically, that's all you ever saw, that's all you ever felt, thought, heard, blah, blah, blah. So now, whenever we want to expand our mind out of a limited set of possibilities that we grew up in, and now we want to go experience more, be more in the world, all these things, we're going to have to fight that subconscious pattern within us that is getting us to ignore all the other possibilities that can play out as us getting what we want and need in our life. It's our brain is subconsciously filtering that out, because if you've had a negative upbringing, your brain is going to filter out negative things, because that is all it has known. That is the information that has been imprinted into it. So now we have to change the information that is imprinted on your subconscious brain, because that is the main frame that is governing the mind. It's allowing certain information to come in and allowing certain information to just stay out. So if you reprogram this mechanism to your advantage, even when you are in the saddest moment of your life, it's because you programmed your mind to look for the silver lining. You programmed your mind to remain optimistic even though in a bad circumstance, because you're learning to handle situations. But you see, sometimes when we grow up and we experience an extreme situation, an extreme periodic table, that may shut down a part of ourselves. So sometimes your heart chakra might get shut down. You may become cold-hearted because of an experience that happened to you when you was younger, and now you're older and things like that. You want to be able to clean your chakras up, because all you're saying is, hey, I'm not allowed to feel, because I felt so much growing up and it was so negative that I don't want to allow myself to feel anymore. But your heart chakra is like a radar. It's going to help you detect certain things in your environment. It's one of your intelligences that you want to have and use with you in life and shit like that. So right now, we all have a perception that we're trapped in. We have a way that we see things, but that way that we see things, the way that we feel and think and do, is only relative to us, meaning that it might not even be actually objective, and it might not be reasonable. Show me right now, why are people in America eating so much food that they're becoming so fat they can't even fucking walk, that they have to get their legs amputated? Is that logical? Is that reasonable? Absolutely no. So that shows us that we have people that are not logical, not reasonable, and not objective. And trust me, I was there too. Because when you look at the stuff that you do, at some point you look at yourself like, okay, I'm not being reasonable, I'm not being objective, right? But the reason why you can't do that is because you're in your animalistic nature. It's just because you're playing out energies of retreating, being afraid, being a snake and trying to run into your cave, rather than dealing with the problem that's in front of you and things like that. And the main problems that a lot of us have is that we don't know how to accept new information. We don't know how to accept love sometimes when we get it. We don't know how to accept just, being confident. We settle for other things, right? And that's the information that's imprinted itself on our subconscious, right? So if that information, let's say, says, for some reason or the other, you decided that, hey, you can't be anything, you can't be nobody, because your entire family was crackheads, blah, 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 and, whatever reason. Now that's objective. You're going to be like, yeah, everyone around me did crack, I grew up doing crack, so I can't be successful. I'm just a crackhead, period. See, that's the label that you have attached yourself to. But you might be the first person that's able to recover from that and show other people that, hey, look, this is possible. And even if you're a crackhead, you can go move on and do something more of your life. But as long as that we believe that it's impossible, as long as we continue to believe that we're incapable of something, as long as that we continue to believe that that we can only live life through this current mind frame that we have, we're not going to ever see the possibility of change, or we're not going to ever see the possibility that we could be something more than we currently are, because we've accepted that possibility, we've accepted that label, we've accepted what we are. But more than that, we should be able to evolve what we are, but just take it one day at a time, because you're dealing with an accumulation that you've had since childhood, and that accumulation is not going nowhere on its own. You have to begin to see and feel life anew. You have to regene your mind. You have to renew your mind. You have to renew your perspective. You have to allow yourself to go through new experiences to prove that those other experiences maybe were not as true as you thought they were. For example, one person may have an ugly nose, right? Or they just may simply perceive that they have a very ugly nose. And when they look in the mirror, or when they're walking around about their day, they might feel that people are making fun of their nose, because internally inside of themselves, they already have a negative perception about themselves. So now they think and feel like the world outside of them sees and feels about them negatively, right? But it's only a perception that he had about himself. But now when this individual changes the perception that they have about their nose, they begin to act out more confidently. They begin to act out more bravely, more boldly, more stoically, more courageously, and stuff like that, because they change the perception that they have about themselves. And the perception that they changed about themselves, whatever that belief was that was stopping them from going forward into other areas of life that they wanted to expand in, once they changed that belief, it allowed them to carry out new behaviors, new mannerisms that advertise to people that they are bold. They are, because you're constantly advertising to people all the time. Whatever mental disposition you have, that story, the story of your mind, the story of your subconscious, will subconsciously exude out of you, whether you like it or not. Because if you believe you're a loser, you will act and walk and talk like a loser. If you believe you're a winner, you will act and walk and talk like a winner. See, our subconscious opinion matters, and how we program ourselves matters, and the information we filter out, the information that we filter in, the information that we filter out matters, because it's all a program that we can alter, and it's all just a perception, and it's all just a placebo. Real fucking shit. Take control of your mind.